Hey everybody, I'm Samurai Sam. Today I'm going to be looking at my PSP games. Now I have to be honest right up front, PSP is one of my least favorite systems personally. Part of that is the hardware. I've had all kinds of problems with PSPs being finicky or just I don't really like the build of it. I don't like how easy it is for dust to get in between the screen and stuff like that. And just I haven't really had a great experience with PSP hardware. And also the games, the library isn't bad. I'm not saying it's a bad system, but it's a lot of the games are either stuff that I'd rather just play on a different system if applicable, or a lot of the games seem to be handheld versions of a game that has been done better on a console. So most of the time I'm not really too thrilled about the PSP library. I'm not saying that very well, but I think you understand what I mean. I'm not a big fan of it. That being said, I do like it enough to have them in my collection. I got some games here to check out, and not all of them are bad. Some of them are cool. So I will show you them one by one. Let's start with a good one. Here's Castlevania, the Dracula X Chronicles. This has Castlevania Rondo of Blood. This is the first time Rondo of Blood ever got released in the West, officially, I believe. I don't know if this... I think this predates the Virtual Console release. I'm pretty sure. And it also has Symphony of the Night. Now, this has both the original Rondo of Blood on it and also a 3D remake of it. It's still 2D gameplay, but 3D graphics and everything. It's cool. I prefer the original Rondo of Blood over the 3D remake. For a couple of reasons. I just don't really like the look of it that much, and I think the graphic style, with 2D gameplay, does not suit it really that well. But it's still a cool release. I'd say if you have a PSP, then pick it up. Crysis Core Final Fantasy VII. This is a prequel to Final Fantasy VII that plays much differently. And it has a kind of action-y battles, kind of a hybrid between turn-based and action, I guess you would say. And there's a lot of missions to go on, and that are optional and stuff. One thing that was annoying is that I did a bunch of missions, and then I started a New Game Plus and saved over my file, and I found out all the missions that you do don't carry over to your New Game Plus. And I'm like, guys, I did all that work. That was really annoying. It's a good game. If you really love Final Fantasy VII, I'd say check it out. Otherwise, I'd say it's skippable. I don't really feel like I'm ever going to replay it. Maybe I will, if I really feel getting into the Final Fantasy VII lore more, but I don't know. Here's Crush. This is a pretty cool looking puzzle game that involves I think you switch between 2D and 3D. I think it's kind of like Super Paper Mario, if I remember right, where you switch between 2D and 3D to get around and solve puzzles. And there's actually a version of this on the 3DS, so I'm probably just going to get that version, because if there's a version of something on PSP on another system, I'm probably going to want to get the other version, because I don't like the PSP hardware. Danganronpa. This game is incredible. This is in my opinion, hands down the best visual novel ever made. And it's a Japan-only release on PSP, but I played the fan translation back in 2013 when that first came out. And since it has been ported and localized in the West for the Vita and also on Steam, and I think PS4 as well. And this is a game about you're a student who has been selected to go to this very prestigious high school, and there's a bunch of other super talented students who are the best in the world, but they all get trapped, and there's this teddy bear with the black in one half of his body and white on the other, who's super evil and wants them to kill each other to try to escape. And it's just super, super good. This game is so well made. Really great suspense, really fantastic humor. Monokuma the bear here is honestly probably my favorite character in anything ever, or really close to it. Just really, really, really super memorable and well written, and just really great. If you have any affinity for visual novels and you don't absolutely loathe anime with every fiber you're being, you have to check it out. Daxter. This is a 3D platformer kind of game, obviously based on Jak and Daxter, and I haven't really played this one that much. I tried playing Jak and Daxter 1 on PS2, and I thought it was okay, but I didn't really get into it, so I haven't really been motivated to try this one yet. This one is about bug hunting and stuff, and so I don't really know how good it is. It's probably okay, but probably not. Knowing my own taste, I'll probably think it's okay, but not really that great. Dissidia. Oh, how do I even say this title? Dissidia 012 Duodecim Final Fantasy. I don't have the first Dissidia. I don't think really need the first one if you're gonna have the second one. This is a kind of an arena 3D fighting game with a bunch of Final Fantasy characters, and I think that's pretty cool. I've never really gotten into it though. I probably should really try and learn the gameplay and actually see if I really like this game, because I do like Final Fantasy quite a bit, and apparently this game is good. I don't know how good. I'll find out someday. Here's DJ Max Fever. I like rhythm games, so I picked this up. and I think it's kind of like Beatmania, that sort of game. I haven't really spent time with it, but at some point I will. And I also have the only Korean game in my collection is this here, DJ Max 2 Emotional Sense, I think it's called. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember exactly what the title is, but it's more of the same DJ Max. I think that US release I just showed you is kind of a blend of content from the first two, and this is the actual second one. I don't really remember exactly. Here is Final Fantasy IV Complete Collection. This contains Final Fantasy IV and also The After Years, which was a series of it's a sequel of sorts that was released episodically on WiiWare, and it's all contained here on this one disc, which is pretty cool. Some people say this is the best version of Final Fantasy IV. That might be true. I've heard After Years is not that great. I've played the first chapter, maybe 2 chapters, I don't remember. And I didn't think it was that great, so I'm probably never going to play After Years all the way through. Yeah, if I feel like playing Final Fantasy IV again though, with a different version, I'll probably play the DS version first before this, but I don't know. Maybe I'll try that someday. Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lions. Now this is a kind of a remake of Final Fantasy Tactics on PS1. I mean, they keep the same graphics and everything. And it does something that was badly needed for the game, and that is a brand new translation, because the original translation of Final Fantasy Tactics was awful, and for me, it made it really hard for me to enjoy the obviously really good story. So that's really nice. The problem with this release is that, one, the music is not as good as in the PS1 version, and also there's a lot of slowdown in the PSP version, and obviously, well, actually not obviously, but I think this one has worse loading times too. There is actually a patch, I believe, you can apply to the PS1 version that gives the translation to this version. So rather than play this version, you should do that. Play the patched PS1 version. Because, again, this is a case of, PSP, got, technically a good game, but it's, it's got compromises. So it's, I don't really like it that much. It doesn't really make me that thrilled for PSP. Gradius Collection. This contains Gradius 1, 2, 3, 4, and Gradius Gaiden, which is the only release of Gradius Gaiden in the West. Which is really cool. Gradius Gaiden is an amazing game. This is a cool compilation. There are I believe there's a little bit of compromises on this version, the PSP version of Gaiden, at least, I believe, has slowdown that wasn't in the original game. And also, the PSP is not, these games are really hard, and the PSP is not an ideal screen to be playing these on, but I mean, it's pretty cool for what it is. It's a nice, cheap way to get all the Gradius games in your collection, that's for sure. And it's not bad, but just I'd rather play the Gradius games elsewhere. I have them all on other consoles. Here's I'm gonna pronounce this wrong. Jeanne d'Arc, I think. It's Joan of Arc. This is a Fire Emblem inspired game, also inspired by Joan of Arc. Obviously, it's very it's not supposed to be historically accurate or close to it or anything. It's kind of a medieval fantasy world and stuff. This is very much Fire Emblem-ish, and a lot of people say this one's really good, and I played it for a while, and it didn't really leave any kind of an impression on me. I played I want to say a couple hours, maybe more than that even, and I just never felt like going back to it, and I just don't. When I see it on the shelf, I was oh yeah, that game exists. So I don't know, maybe I'll go back to it someday, because I do like Fire Emblem quite a bit, but I don't know, this game just did not leave an impression on me the little time I played it. Lunar Silver Star Harmony, because there wasn't enough remakes of Lunar 1 already. This is a remake of Lunar the Silver Star on Sega CD. And it has an entirely new voice cast, and everything's redone in this version. They didn't just port the PS1 remake; they remade it from the ground up. And apparently it's pretty good. I haven't played this one too much. I really like the PS1 version. I'm not sure if this is better or worse than the PS1 version. I think I've heard mixed opinions on it. But yeah, at some point I'll give it some time. I did just play through the original on Sega CD this year, so I'm not too itchy to play it again, even though it is quite different than the original Sega CD version. I know that. Again, another name I'm going to probably butcher, Luminous, I think it's called. Puzzle Fusion. This is a puzzle game that involves if I remember right, there's music, and every once in a while, the I guess based on the music, there will be a bar that sweeps across the screen and clears certain blocks or something. I've actually never really spent the time to memorize how to play this game. I've booted up a couple times, but again, there's sequels of Luminous on other platforms, and I'd rather just play those than go back to this one. So I don't know. Maybe I won't even keep this one. I don't know. It's another case of why would I want to play the one on PSP when I could play the one on another system? Speaking of which, me and my Katamari. I love Katamari Damacy. It's a great series. This is not this is the worst one. Not even close, in my opinion. Yeah, there's not as much there's hardly any levels in this. You play in the single player campaign, you repeat levels so often, and it just gets repetitive. And like, there's some obviously amusing dialogue that's exclusive to this game, but it's like, unless you really need to play all the Katamari games, just you don't need to bother with this one, in my opinion. Here's one that's actually legitimately cool. It's Mega Man Maverick Hunter X. This is a remake of Mega Man X1 on the Super Nintendo, and like they've changed it up to the point where like if you've like mastered the original and memorized where everything is, they shuffle around like all the locations and stuff, so you can't just like go and like get everything. It's like playing the same game you always loved, but like you can't just like power through it because you have to learn where things are again because they're in different places. And there's also like a new mode where you play as Vile, which is way different, and I haven't really delved into this mode. I wouldn't say like it's better than the original or replaces in the original, but it's cool. It's worth having. If you have a PSP, it's one of the better reasons to have a PSP. Another one, it's a very similar case, Mega Man Powered Up. This is a full-on remake of Mega Man 1, but a lot is different here. Like, I mean, it is definitely Mega Man 1, but like they add new content. There's like a couple new levels, and you can actually like play as a whole bunch of different characters, and that's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, it's way better than the original Mega Man 1. I mean, in my opinion, this does actually replace Mega Man 1. I mean, unless you, like, for historical reasons. Like, if I want to experience Mega Man 1, this is how I want to do it. And yeah, I had fun playing this one. And it's hard, just like you expect Mega Man to be. Like, they didn't, like, skimp on the difficulty because with it being a remake. Don't be fooled by, like, the chibi, cartoony stuff. This game is hard, and it's fun. So yeah, this is one of the better reasons to own a PSP, in my opinion. Metal Gear Acid, and I also have... I should probably also show you, I have Metal Gear Acid 2. These are, like, kind of weird card-based Metal Gear games where it's, like, you're not, they're very different from the main series. Like, you're not, like, moving around freely or anything. You use cards to do everything, like move, and you do, like, tactical turn-based battles. Earlier this year, I tried getting into Metal Gear Acid 1, and I had kind of a hard time kind of getting the feel for it. Like, the game wasn't really jiving with me. There's also, by the way, no voice acting in this game, so there's no David Hayter or anything, unfortunately. I've heard they're good, and I don't know, maybe I'll give Metal Gear Acid 1 or 2, like, another try at some point, see if, like, I can really, like, come to appreciate it. It just didn't really impress me that much. I say that a lot with PSP, because it just seems like PSP always lets me down, almost always. Not always. Like, I like Mega Man Powered Up, obviously, but it's like, Mortal Kombat Unchained, there's this Mortal Kombat Deception, only with, like, some new content, like a few new playable characters. And, yeah, the main thing is, like, a few characters that were playable in Deadly Alliance, but not original Deception. And I believe everybody's unlocked right from the start in this one, which is kind of cool. Otherwise, yeah, it's just Mortal Kombat Deception, only, like, kind of a little bit watered down for PSP. And, yeah, I mean, I went through a big Mortal Kombat phase in my life, so that's part of why I have this. But, like, I don't see myself really going back to this, because if I want to play Mortal Kombat Deception, like, I'm just going to play the console versions. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I missed out on Jax and Katana and a couple others, but, like, I don't know, I don't need to have them all. Proteus Portable. This is a really cool little package that has all 5 Proteus games. Yes, there's 5, not 4, because everybody forgets about the one on MSX. Yeah, this is a pretty good... These versions are pretty good. They're not perfect. It is the PS1 version of Jikyo rather than the Saturn version, which in my opinion is superior. Also, like, a few music tracks were inexplicably changed. I don't know why. The replacement tracks are okay, not as good, but fine. And yeah, I mean, I love Proteus. Nowadays, like, I'm just going to play the console ones, though. Like, I have played this compilation quite a bit. It also, I should mention, it does have, like, save features, so, like, you can save in the middle of a run, which is cool. But, like, I prefer to play it, like, the normal, old-fashioned way. So it's like, yeah, it's cool. I'm glad to have it. But, like, again, it doesn't give me huge points for the PSP's favor, just because, like, I'd rather play those games elsewhere. Salamander Deluxe Pack, is that how you call it? No, Salamander Portable, that's what this is. So this has Salamander, Life Force, Salamander 2, and also a couple non-Salamander games, including, I think, Zexus, and if I'm pronouncing that right. And it has Gradius 2 on the MSX. Yeah, I think that's all of them. I don't think these games are generally that great. Like, Life Force / Salamander 1 is not a very good game, in my opinion. Gradius 2 on MSX doesn't seem that great to me. Zexus and Salamander 2 seem better. But, like, probably not that great. I don't know. I'll try playing. This is like the only version of Zexus I have, so I kind of want to play that and like see what I really think of that game. We'll see though. Senju no Valkyria 3, if I'm pronouncing that right. This is Valkyrie Chronicles 3. I haven't actually... This is the first game in the series that I've gotten to on these videos, and it's the third one. That's kind of weird. We're going to get to 2 later in this video. But anyway, this one was only released in Japan. There is an English patch. I've tried the English patch. The problem that I have with this is that, like, I had just finished 2, and then I started playing this one, and I was already playing like repeat maps that I already played in 2, and I'm like, why? And that like just kind of turned me off from it. That being said, there is a lot like different in this game. Like mechanics were like more freedom over how you build your characters and stuff, and so like that's probably good. And yeah, maybe the story's good. I don't know. Like I like the series. I'm not like super crazy about the series. Maybe at some point I'll come back to this. Shin Megami Tensei Persona. This is the definitive version of Persona 1, at least in the West, because the localization for Persona 1 in the West originally was terrible. And this one is much better. I really like the soundtrack to this one. Gameplay-wise, I just did not like this game. I played like, I want to say 10 to 15 hours of it, and I just like got really frustrated with it. Like there's so many obnoxious enemies, and it's just not really that fun to play in my opinion. Yeah, if you want the origin of the series, this is a good way to do it. And like, there's things to like about it, but like, I just don't really like the gameplay. Persona 2 Innocent Sin. This is actually half of Persona 2 because the second half, Eternal Punishment, I have on PS1. And this is one where the gameplay is definitely better than Persona 1, and the story is very interesting, but like I stopped playing again like 15 hours in because like the gameplay just doesn't really do it for me. And maybe I should go back because I mean I do find the story and the setting and stuff and the characters to be interesting, but it's just like the gameplay was just kind of a slog. It's not as bad as the first game, but it's still just not that good. And there's no like, by the way, like if you're familiar with the newer Persona games, there's no like confidants, social links, that kind of stuff. That's completely absent. Speaking of which, though, here's a cool game here: Persona 3, Shin Megami Tensei Persona 3 Portable. This is arguably the best version of Persona 3. There are some trade-offs with the PS2 version, but there's a lot to like about this version. The big deal with this version, well, there's two big deals with this version. There's an alternate main character who's a female with like different social links and everything, so that adds a lot of value / replay value to this one for sure. But also, the other big selling point is that you can actually directly control your party members, which you couldn't do in the PS2 version, which was stupid. And so, at some point, I do actually want to play through this. Like, I have already played through Persona 3. I don't usually replay RPGs, but this one is, like, different enough, especially with, like, the female protagonist, that, like, I do think this is worth a shot at some point. Maybe not too far from now, maybe I'll play it again. I don't know. But this is, if you like Persona, this is a pretty good reason to own a PSP, Persona 3 Portable. Prinny, Can I Really Be the Hero? Cool little side-scrolling, challenging action game featuring the Prinnies from Disgaea. Disgaea is a series that I tried to get into once. I tried playing the first one and I got frustrated with it, and like I put it down and I never like picked up the series again. But anyway, this is a cool game. I haven't played it a lot, but I can tell it's really cool. The good news is that you don't have to play this PSP version anymore because it just came out on like the newer platforms like Switch. So I will play those versions instead of this one because I don't want to deal with PSP. Soul Calibur Broken Destiny. This is obviously a Soul Calibur game. It's a standalone Soul Calibur game, and this one has Kratos from God of War as a playable guest character, which is cool. But like this one is very lacking in single player modes. Like it doesn't have I don't think it has like an arcade or story mode. It just has like some random modes for a single player, which is bad because it's a portable and it should mainly be single player. So I mean, I love Soul Calibur, but like I mean, this one's kind of just like a novelty because Kratos is in it, I guess. I don't think it has really that much else to offer other than that. Space Invaders Extreme. This is a pretty cool reimagining of a classic game. And this is not a PSP exclusive, actually. This is also on DS. I want to say it's on Xbox Live Arcade as well, so you should probably play those versions instead. I do happen to have this on PSP, and I did happen to play it on PSP. And it's fun. But, like, I probably should get this on Xbox Live Arcade because I would rather do that than deal with the PSP. But yeah, if you like shoot 'em ups, then check it out. Street Fighter Alpha 3 Max. Very cool version of Street Fighter Alpha 3 with like the most content of any version, as far as I know, with like some playable characters that are exclusive to this version. And the reverse dramatic battle from the Saturn mode is here. It's a really cool version. It's just, again, the problem is that it's on the PSP. And like, you want to be able to just like have friends over and toss them a controller and say, hey, let's play Street Fighter. You can't really do that with the PSP. So it's a shame that this hasn't been, as far as I know, this version has not been ported to like any console. I mean, I am happy to have it, but like, why does it have to be PSP? Sweet Fuse at Your Side. So this was one of the last physical releases on PSP, and so like I grabbed it because of that reason, because it was like rare. And turns out like this is like what they call an otome game, which is like kind of like a dating sim for girls, but it has like a kind of an interesting-ish story as well that involves like literally Keiji Inafune, who like created Mega Man in real life. But actually, my sister is like into this kind of thing, so like my sister wound up playing this game, and and I heard a lot of amusing things from it through her. So I am glad I picked it up. I am probably never going to actually play it for myself though. Tales of Versus. So there's a lot of like interesting Tales of spin-off games in Japan. So like Tales of is obviously Namco's popular JRPG series. And I do really like the series in general. And I'm not sure how good this game is really. Like the Tales series, instead of turn-based like Final Fantasy battles, they are real-time battles in the mainline games. So it kind of lends itself well to a fighting game. I'm not really sure how well they executed it here because I haven't really spent the time with it. And I don't think there's an English patch, which is unfortunate if true, but you probably don't totally need it. At some point I'll spend some time with this and see how I like it. And then here's another one. Tales of the Heroes Twin Brave. Kind of a weird little spin-off. I forget if this one has an English patch or not. I don't think it does, but I could be wrong. This is more of like a 3D like hack and slash game. And I'm not really sure how good it is. At some point I'll have to, try it and find out. But, I like Tales, so I kind of have that. I also used to have Tales of the World Radiant Mythology 1, which has like crossovers of like all the different Tales characters up to that point. Well, not all of them, but like a lot from all the different games. And I don't think that game is that good. Like I wound up selling it to a friend. Yeah, there's like I've been selling games more often lately, so there's some games that were on the shelf when I started the series that are not anymore. So that's a thing. Lord of the Rings Tactics. I saw this in a store not that long ago, like a couple of years ago or something, and I had never heard of it, and so I just kind of had to pick it up because it was cheap and interesting. At some point, I want to watch like the Lord of the Rings movies again because I haven't seen them since they first came out. And when I do that, I'll probably like play more of the games and like see how good they are. And this one included. I know this one's not considered like a great game, but I guess it's considered decent at least. Twin Bee Portable. Now, speaking of PSP problems, like my main PSP that I like to use for games doesn't work with this game for some reason. Like it freezes when like it's about to get to the title screen, and I have no idea why. It's like only this game, only that PSP. Like I tried on my other PSP that I mainly use as an MP3 player, and it works fine. So like I don't understand it. It's so weird. But anyway, this is a compilation with several different Twin Bee games. What's really cool is that this contains a 3D remake of the Game Boy Twin Bee game, which is exclusive to this compilation. That's really cool. And I actually played it earlier this year, and I really enjoyed it. The only problem with it was that it was just way too short. Like you beat it in like 20 minutes, and then that's it. But yeah, this is a very cool compilation. I would rather play these games elsewhere for the most part when I have them. Like I do have most of these on other systems, but that Green Game Boy remake is exclusive to this, so that made me happy that I had a PSP, at least for 20 minutes or so. Ultimate Ghosts and Goblins. This is an exclusive to PSP entry in this very difficult series, and I think they don't really mess that much of the formula. I think it's kind of the same old, like really difficult same kind of style of gameplay, which I guess is all right. At some point, like I really want to dive into this series, and I will play this game when that time comes. I've heard it's okay, but like not great. Probably people will get really frustrated with the difficulty, so it might even be better than most people say. Valkyrie Chronicles 2. In my opinion, this is the best Valkyrie Chronicles game. Valkyrie Chronicles is a series that, I already showed you the third one, but like, I guess it's kind of Fire Emblem-ish, I guess you would call it that, but it's very different from Fire Emblem as well. Like, you pick a unit, and then you can like freely move them around, and you can choose to shoot one volley of bullets, or one action, like per turn but you have like multiple turns on your turn. I'm not explaining it that well, but like you can spend your turn points to move the same unit a whole bunch of times and attack with them over and over again if you want. Like there's several different unit types. There's a tank that's really like tough and useful and stuff. And like this one, I think is the best one overall. And like the games have like amusing characters that you get to have in your army, and so that's one thing I like about it as well, like with some amusing voice clips and stuff. Yeah, this is one of the best PSP exclusive in my opinion. I recommend it. Wipeout Pure. I haven't really played this whole series very much, but yeah, futuristic racing game considered to be very good. I am interested in it. I will try it at some point. I forget if this is actually exclusive to the PSP. Probably is. I don't remember though. WTF, Work Time Fun. I remember when this game came out in Japan, I thought there was no way it would come out in America, but it did. Wow. This one involves like doing a bunch of like random tasks and stuff, and it's actually not like that fun, if I remember right. But it's very quirky and hilarious and just kind of silly, and I like that kind of stuff, so picked it up for cheap for that reason. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll try it again and be like, this is so bad I don't even want it for its quirkiness, but I don't know. Worms Open Warfare. So I like Worms. Worms is a fun series. I believe this is also on DS. I'm not sure how the two versions compare. I tend to not like PSP versions of things, so maybe I should just get the DS version. But Yeah, it's Worms. It's like, turn-based strategy gameplay, sort of. Like, I mean, like, you do freely control your worm, but it's like you have each worm has a turn and stuff, and there's all kinds of cool different weapons, and the game has a lot of personality, and yeah, I like these games. I don't know how this specific entry really stacks up. Maybe someday I'll find out. There's also a second one, but I don't have that. Here's E7. Now, Falcom, Ys and Falcom in general, I feel like they're a series that really should be right up my alley, but for some reason I've just never loved Falcom in the same way that like other people do. Like there's other Falcom games I've had like on PSP, for example, that I just don't have anymore because I sold them because they just don't grab me like other people. But this one is actually quite good. Like this is my favorite Falcom game probably of all time. Even then though, like I've never like really felt the desire to go back to this one. It's like an action adventure game. I wouldn't call it Zelda. Like it's very, very different from Zelda, but like action RPG. It's got a bunch of different characters you can swap between, and that's pretty cool. And the storyline's pretty good. Like there's a cool little twist in there that I enjoyed. Gameplay's solid. It's not terribly difficult, unlike some other Ys games. But it's challenging enough, and I enjoyed it. I don't really feel like replaying it, but if you have a PSP, I'd say check it out. I don't think it's been ported to anything. And then finally, here is one of the best titles ever made for a video game, ZHP, Unlosing Ranger versus Dark Death Evil Man. This is one of those roguelikes. It's kind of like a mystery dungeon game, and I believe it's quite difficult as well, like those games tend to be. And I do like those types of games, so I am interested in trying this out for real at some point. Maybe I will soon. Like next year I'll be due at some point to play through a PSP game, and it might be this one. I don't know. Either this or Persona 3 probably. I don't know. We'll see. I can't really give an opinion, but I do like the title, and I like this type of game, so we'll see. And that is all I have on my shelf for PSP games. Again, not my favorite system in the world, but there's some good stuff here and there. So to me, it has just enough merit to be worth owning. I also really like using PSPs as MP3 players. Like that is what I mainly use them for. But anyway, coming up next is going to be Xbox 360. So stay tuned for that. Until then, I'm Samurai Sam. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and have a great rest of your day.